All right, now checking on you, I can see that we are 7 participants. Hopefully people are gonna join us soon. Again, I need to remind you to turn on your cameras if you can for the first 10 or 15 minutes. I would be so happy to see you. How am I? I'm good. I'm cold. I'm relaxed. I'm happy. I love that it's not raining outside. This has a very big effect on me. I have a lot of work coming up on Monday. I'm a little bit worried, but other than that, I'm good. Thank you for asking, Genti. All right, so I made sure to copy paste what we talked about. I mean, this one last week. So probably we can narrow it down to a more reasonable timing. I had a call from Beirut yesterday evening, and they want to do the midterm on a Wednesday. I forgot which date, by the way. Let me check the calendar. She said, is it March 23? Do we have March 23? How can I change this to monthly? Oh, how do I change it to monthly? I don't know. Oh, it's here. Okay. So 23, 24, not 17. Anyway, I don't know the date. It could be 24 or 17. She did not tell me. But they want to do it on a Wednesday at 6. We don't have to do it. But I would love to see what you think about it. On a Wednesday around this date at 6. Do you want us to have our midterm with them? And anyway, I need to discuss with them which experiments they have and so on. But if the timing is not, I have a lab till 7. Awesome. So let's cancel. We have an organic exam. All right. So 1, you have classes. 2, let me write the organic exam. So organic exam on the 24th, just to keep in mind. All right, I'm gonna say they have classes until 7. I'm ready to separate from them for one important reason. What's that? Midterm. For one important reason, the labs, their labs is actually different. Off right on the 27, and you have something else on the 27. Okay, on the worry about the comma. Biolab on the 26th. Okay. All right. I'm gonna discuss first of all the labs with them, and then we're gonna check the date. I want us to be separated from them. We are one section. We don't have to deal with anybody's constraint, unless we can. It gives us something. All right. So. March 20 or March 27, it doesn't matter. According to what I wrote here, it says nothing. March 20 or March 27. We did not decide. Do you mind both? All right. Shall we pick March 20 and deal with it? Or 19, because 20 or 19. Okay, all right. Oh, you said 27, I have an ecology exam. Oh, 27. Okay. Anyone would like to say anything about March 20 or 27? Anna, do you have a reason? If you can give me a reason, probably it will be easier for me to guess, to decide.
Doctor, because on the 16th, I have a lab midterm, and then on the 24th, I have another exam organic, and يعني بساعدها 27 بنكون خلصت everything else. إذا we do it on 20, I would have an exam one day before and one day after.
Which is okay, at least on not the same day. Because look, Janti has an exam on the same day. You know, and at least you don't have an exam.
Yes, 27 or 20, it's okay, but 24, I would have an exam on the same day.
Oh, yeah. خلاص انسوا 24. All right, insert 24. I'm gonna cross it out and I'm gonna explain to them. So I'm just trying to pick between. All right. So Jad, you don't want Saturdays. This is what you're trying to say. All right. Next time I see you is gonna be the 13th. On the 13th, we have to have a final word about it. Okay. I know sometimes asking you will make it even more difficult on you because you cannot decide. I have to decide for you. It's only that I'm trying just to ask you a few questions before I take the decision myself. Since you are only one class, why not? So Jad has exams on both 20 and 27. That's why Jad wants it on an afternoon. So let's say not Saturday, not Saturday. And afternoon we agreed 7:30 p.m. because nothing between 4 and 7. This is what you. Can we do it on the 25th? And 25th is a Thursday. Do you want it on a Thursday? Roy, you have biocam. Which day you mean? On the 25th? Are you answering Janti, Roy? 18 or 19? Okay. So let's say Friday, March 26th. Let it be 7:30 p.m. Let's assume this is final. By the way, I think there's a holiday on that day. I'm hoping this is not Easter or something. Okay. So Guy has a bio lab on that day. Come on. Ah, the bio lab. But Guy, didn't you tell me that you will be done between after 7:30? Last week I asked everyone and you said Friday afternoon after 7:30 you'll be fine. Is that bio lab midterm or bio lab the lab itself, Guy? Ah, the midterm. She already booked before me. Oh God, I'm not being able to decide. Khalas, let's forget about the midterm. Let's not have a midterm. How about that? This is so crazy. All right. I don't know what to do. Probably ask you about this again at the end of the session. By the way, I have good news. Lab 4 is already all recorded for us. There's nothing related to the theory I want to discuss. So this is going to take us around 10 to 15 minutes. I want to take all my time on lab 3. And by the way, I can add something to our plan that lab 2 grades are going out starting today, which means some students already received lab 2 grades. Everybody received lab 1 grades already. Okay, if you do have a question or something, let me know. Please check the comments, not only the grade. 1 second, Roy. Please convert your documents to PDF before you submit. And remember, you have unlimited submission, so you can submit again anytime you want. This is an assignment. It's not an exam. It's not a quiz. It's only for me to give you some remarks and you can submit again and we can talk about it. And those grades are not final. Yes, go ahead, Roy. Roy raised his hand. Yes, Roy.
Yes, Doctor, concerning Lab 1, you wrote as a comment that there's something wrong with our map. It's most probably due to the fact that we didn't convert it to a PDF file.
Yes.
Can you please clarify what happened? Because it shows clearly on my submission.
Yes, I would want to talk about this and I want the others to see. Let me show you. Roy. Yara, it's okay. We were discussing the midterm date and we came up with no answer. So we're gonna discuss it again. So this 50 is nothing, okay? Please don't freak out because I had a student who freaked out. This is because I cannot submit a comment without writing a grade. And if I give you an 80, probably you're not gonna look at it. I wanted to sound urgent. All right, look. Okay, not this map probably. I saw a map that was not clear. Wait a second. Probably I did not wait enough. Okay, wait. Roy, who's your partner? Could it be on your partner's lab report? Abdo.
It's Abdo, yes.
Okay, let me check. Probably I checked Abdo's work. I think my Blackboard did not show the whole thing. But now it shows. And when I saw your partner as Abdo, probably I opened Abdo's work. Wait, you see Abdo's graph is different. And I know he has different colors, and I know probably by simply submitting doc, probably Blackboard did not show it. And it tells me actually, by the way, everyone in this room is submitting doc. The conversion process may have changed the spacing in the submission. You can still download the original file. I know I can download, and this is not the end of the world, but I want you to have a habit to always convert to PDF whenever you want to share anything with anyone. It's safer for you. Nobody can change it. It's a picture, so everybody would see what you actually can see. What shows on your laptop may not show on a different laptop. This is also taking into account that Blackboard may hide some of the graph, may change some of the pictures. So this is a general comment. Please don't worry about it. So Roy, I did not look into yours. I looked into Abdo's. And when I saw it has something wrong, I didn't want to read through it. I thought probably he has a different graph and I'd rather give him a chance. All right, but if this is the only difference, I can guess through this one. But how can I remember to grade it again? Do you think I can remove the grade? Can you submit PDF again? I would see a new submission. I will go through it.
Okay.
It will be a
Okay, I'll let him know.
Yeah. Just do yours and let him do his, you know. And when I see a yellow mark, this is a reminder for me to go over it again. Otherwise I would forget through the weeks.
Okay.
I have a comment for let me tell you, Nagam as well. Nagam is with us. I hope so. Yes, Karin, don't worry. It happens with a lot of students. Just convert to PDF. Let me know if you don't know how to convert to PDF. I believe it's a very good habit anyway. Who's the partner of Nagam if Nagam is not here? Anyway, no problem. I can talk to Nagam later. All right, what else? Any questions related to lab 1 or 2? I mean 3, because you're doing lab 3 and the deadline is in few hours or probably tomorrow. You're fine. Actually, lab 3 is easy. As I remember well, it was mostly about how ohmic devices and non-ohmic devices behave, and mostly how the bulb itself has a weird behavior for different frequencies. So I assume you guys are okay. I'm gonna start with lab 4, right? And when I finish lab 4, I would want to go over all this mess again, because trust me, discussing things with you is so much easier than deciding for you, all right? Okay, so what do we have? Let me start by showing you the manual, because you need to know what to expect before you actually discuss the lab report. I also noticed that a lot of participants are missing, and I noticed that Sherbel is very quiet, and this is unusual. All right. Sometimes I understand when students have difficulties to join a class or something. All right, so they tell you what equipment you have. You can see it in the video, and I hope the video is clear enough. And eventually some connections to do, and they will be in the video. Please go through it quickly. Then the questions, you're gonna be surprised. The questions are super easy and super introductory. The point is to get used to the board and to have fun and to introduce easy stuff. Connect one light bulb to one D cell in such a way that the light will glow. Sketch the circuit in the table. Imagine they ask you to sketch the circuit and that's it. What happens if you reverse the 2 wires and so on? So this is really basic. And as you can see, no measurements is needed. All right, so you only need to observe. They ask you about the brightness. Please make sure you discuss brightness. You say current, you say voltage or potential difference. Do not say intensity, because intensity for me could be intensity of the brightness or intensity of the current. So say brightness and current. Don't say attention, say voltage or potential difference. I know some of you are translating from the French, but intensity is very misleading. It could be intensity of the brightness, you see. Other than that, you have some steps to follow and things to do, and I'm gonna do everything on the video. So you're gonna watch the video and answer the questions. No data analysis required, no averages, no linear regression, error on the slope, nothing of all that. All right? Observation, analysis, come up with a conclusion. In some of the cases, your conclusion is wrong because the observation is not enough. And this is okay as long as observation, analysis, conclusion makes sense. So you may end up with a full grade if you have a good analysis of your observation. Now, if your observation is not enough because this is the equipment that, and this is the trial you did, definitely your conclusion will be missing. And that's not your problem. So you're gonna get a full grade anyway. Now, what is the basic objective of this lab? Is to discuss the brightness of the bulb and try to see what are the parameters that do affect it. When you plug in series, you plug in parallel, the brightness is gonna get stronger or weaker, and you're gonna try to come up with a theory stating the brightness depends on what. All right, now let me show you the video. The video is 11 minutes long, and yes, we're not gonna see it all. It's gonna be fast forward. You can watch it later and pause every time you need to answer a question. What we have here, this is too big for my brain. Okay, so we have a board. I'm sorry if it's upside down, but anyway, it's the same thing. You have the batteries sockets. They're empty. I'm not gonna use them. And proudly, I'm not gonna use them. I'm gonna use a power supply instead. Why? The power supply will provide me with a constant voltage. You see, I connected a voltmeter parallel to my power supply to keep an eye on the voltage supplied. This is 2.85 volts. All right. So every time you want to compare case 1 and case 2, do that as long as the voltage is the same. You cannot compare two cases knowing that the voltage has changed. And trust me, it's going to change throughout the experiment. So every few minutes, I'm going to adjust it. And you can keep track of what's written in here. If I have batteries, I can still measure the voltage across the batteries, but the batteries are so not to be trusted. Every time you have a high resistance in the circuit, they don't deliver the same push, you know? This is one. Another thing, every time I touch the batteries or turn them inside the socket, they give me a different value. It's difficult to control. However, for the power supply, I have a knob, fine tuning, and coarse tuning, and I can easily see the voltage and know what's happening. All right? What I have here is I have empty vacant springs. I can put anything I want, like resistors, capacitors, and we're gonna do this next week. I'm only using bulb 1, 2, 3. These bulbs are 3-volt bulbs, which means they can take up to 3 volts. If you give them a bit more than 3 volts, they're gonna burn. If you give them less, they're gonna be not so bright. And they're gonna be dim if you give them really a very small value. However, they have a threshold. And what I mean by threshold, it's a voltage below which they're gonna be not shining at all. And this is a bit confusing for the observation. So you know there's a voltage going through them, but the lamp is not gonna shine and you will be confused because it's below the threshold. So there's a threshold below which it's not gonna shine, above which it's gonna start shining. Those bulbs are not connected. Do you see it? They're not connected. Your job is to connect them in series when needed, in parallel when needed, and you will be provided with extra tiny thin wires, okay? And eventually you can connect them through this power supply. So the power supply is red and blue. By the way, these springs are connected. So instead of connecting the power supply directly to the bulb, I can use this spring to the bulb. It's easier to connect. So I have 1, 2, 3 points that are equivalent. 1, 2, 3 points that are equivalent. Now you have here a potentiometer, which is a variable resistor. It has 3 legs. You can use leg 1 and 2. By turning the knob clockwise or counterclockwise, the resistance between leg 1 and 2 is going to change. This is a coil that I'm not going to use. This is a transistor socket that I'm not going to use. This is a switch that I'm not going to use. Just ignore them, probably in some other experiment. I'm explaining here in the experiment everything about the board, the sockets, the switch. the potentiometer, the coil, the vacant springs. I miss my watch. All right, these are the banana wires, and I wanted to show you the power supply and to explain what's wrong. And I'm showing you, my point is to provide with 3 volts, but sometimes I don't need to be exactly on 3 volts as long as it's a constant. All right. Why 3 volts? Because one bulb takes 3 volts. I don't want more because I want to connect sometimes to one bulb. Also, every battery, I don't know if you ever, I know now your generation doesn't deal with batteries a lot. The batteries here are the big ones, the ones that have an EMF equal to 1.5 volts. I don't know if you know them, those big ones. So, and usually we connect them in series, so I end up with 3 volts. That's why I wanted 3 volts to mimic the behavior of a battery. Here I'm explaining how I do the connections, disconnect. I'm checking here if the bulbs are functioning because sometimes the bulbs do not function. Like this one is not functioning well. So this is checking the bulbs before I start the experiment. So this one is shining. All right. So apparently I had to touch the bulb for it to function normally. Sometimes it's not well screwed inside the socket. This is a very thin wire that I'm gonna use. Okay, so by simply inserting the wire into this empty spring, and you see it's gonna shine. I know this is very simple, but believe me, if you are on your bench and your bulb is not shining, you will be disappointed, devastated, I'm gonna say. And whenever it starts shining, you're gonna party. Although I know it's very simple. Then they ask you to switch the wires. I did the switching for you. It's up to you to observe whatever happens. Right? I know it's trivial. Sometimes explaining something trivial may be difficult a bit. Okay? So switching the wires. Now I'm gonna connect this. Can you tell me, is that a series connection or a parallel connection? Anyone? Roy, Abdo, Anna, Karine, Yara. Anyone knows if this connection is series or parallel? Speak up. Abdo, you promised to be very active. Series connection. Karen is saying series as well with a question mark. Anyone? Karine is saying parallel. Roy is saying series. Series again from Janti, parallel from Karen. I'm gonna fast forward back. So look, I had bulb 1 or C alone. Then I added a wire to connect bulb C to bulb B. Okay, by the way, here I'm fixing this one. It had to be rotated. I'm using 4 wires, 1 and 2, 3 and 4. And I will use any vacant paper in here to draw if you want. So power supply, power supply. This is the first bulb. Yes, this is a very thin pen. Then wire and wire. This is another bulb. So is that series or parallel? Series, they should be on the same cable, no? So do you think, Karine, this is series or parallel? All right. Anyone believes this is series? Obviously, it's a parallel. Yes. And for the students who said series, it's okay. Probably you misunderstood the connections. And trust me, the connections on the board look sometimes a bit different. When you draw them, things are going to be easier. So usually draw the bulbs and try to connect with a pencil to mimic a cable. Trust me, this would make your life so much easier. All right. Now that you have the whole experiment displayed in front of you, things are gonna be more complex probably. And then now I'm gonna remove the wires to compare the brightness with, without. Check the brightness of C changed before, after, I don't know. Check it out for yourself. Sometimes by moving fast forward, things get easier to see. Now this connection, is it series or parallel? So you see what happened? Probably you cannot see because of the color. Let me draw it for us. It was this to the bulb. Then I have the bulb. I'm hating this pen. And then a wire. Then another bulb. Then this wire back to the battery. Obviously in series. Yes, I know series connections are easy. It's always important to try to do the connections on a board. And this is a basic board for a reason. All right? Because you always study the theory and never do the basics. Okay? So here you can do fast forward to check the brightness. Before, after, you can take screenshots. So this, how it was in series connection, and this is alone. There's a question that says, compare how the brightness is if bulb 1 is alone, bulb 1 and 2 are in series. So check it out. All right, I believe this is nice and easy at the same time. Now the three bulbs are connected in series or parallel. In this case, series or parallel, three bulbs now. Yes, so obviously in parallel, and you can check the brightness before and after. Did it ever change? I don't know. Think about it. I know for a fact that usually when you have different benches, it's more difficult to tell. But since everyone will do the experiment on one video, you may end up with same answers for observation, not for the analysis. That definitely, because you're referring to the same video. And now is that series or by the way, these bulbs are on, but they're very, very, very dim. You can see a small orange light. Okay. Now they ask you to unscrew. Unscrew meaning to remove one bulb. And you see you had a very dim light. When you unscrew one bulb, what happened to the other bulbs? Check it out. And then they want you to connect in parallel and unscrew. What happens when you unscrew one bulb? Before and after, before and after. I don't know. Check it out. Right? Then they ask you to connect with a potentiometer. Okay, so you see, let me show you just a second. So wire to the bulb, then bulb to the potentiometer, then potentiometer back to the power supply. By the way, are you keeping an eye on the voltage? I did not. Hala, we're gonna fast forward to see if it has changed. So the power supply, not the power supply, the potentiometer, I'm using two legs only because when I turn the knob clockwise or counterclockwise, the resistance between the two legs is gonna change. And here I'm gonna rotate the potentiometer and you can see that the bulb is actually, you can see the brightness is changing a bit. So think about it, think of the resistance, the current, the voltage, and so on. Now I'm gonna go back to the first of the video. Keep an eye on the voltage. Did it change throughout the experiment? Don't tell me it was not changing at all, or it was fluctuating, which is normal. But I'm glad to see that it was constant throughout the experiment. I don't know if I had to make sure by changing the voltage of the power supply, but apparently I didn't have to. It was stable without, oh, all right, it was stable without any help of me. So this is like a condition to be able to compare the different cases. And this is like something to give you confidence that you have no external problems happening, without you knowing. So you're in full control. You see how easy the experiment is? You will not need any results from me. You only need the video, the YouTube video of the experiment, the recorded session in case for the students who are absent, or you if you want to take some hints. And that's it. Please convert your lab reports as PDF before submitting. This is always important and it's a very good habit. I'm going to put the video away unless you have some questions. And I want to come up with an answer for this one. All right, on a new slide. I'm gonna do the following. What options we have? I'm gonna give it a final trial. All right, option 1 would be Friday, March 16. Option 2 will be a Saturday. All right, Saturday, March. What happened to my capital? Okay, Saturday, March 20, and this is wrong. I meant 19. And for this is gonna be 7:30 p.m. And for this is gonna be, I don't know, did we decide for Saturday? We did not decide. It's gonna be either class time or afternoon. How do I know if it's class time or not? Depending on afternoon, depending if we can afford a week off. If our schedule can afford a week off, and I doubt, because we need to continue through the experiments, we can do that. Otherwise, I would say Saturday afternoon. Option 3 is gonna be a Friday, March 27, 7:30 p.m. And 4, it's gonna be Saturday, March 27. This one is 26. It's gonna be class time or afternoon. And I doubt we can do the midterm with the other. All right, unless you can specify option 5. Option 5 would be any day after, any weekday afternoon. And by afternoon, it's gonna be anything 6 or 7. I would say 7:30 p.m. anytime you want. All right, or earlier if you can make it. All right, so now I urge everybody who is with me to write something. Yes, I can do a poll, but why, Yara? Because you want to give a chance for the people who are not here with us?
Yeah, and also to get clearer results in الكلام اللي all on the chat.
Yeah.
And maybe we won't be able to see everyone.
Yeah, but you're totally right. And probably some people that are not with us may have like a complete constraint. But let me have an idea before writing the poll, because I don't want to, just to narrow down the options. All right. And please do not tell me which one you prefer. Tell me which one you cannot. All right. So let's start with the constraint. Okay, so Abdo wants to finish the earlier the better. Weekday, Jad, give me an option for weekday. Like you tell me on a Wednesday. All right, so Roy cannot 1 and 2, which means 1 and 2 are, but can you tell me why cannot? So I can assess your, so back to Roy, cannot on March 27. Yeah, but the problem is apparently all of them cannot happen. All right. Roy, all right, cannot on the 26th. When you say cannot, you have to say why, okay? So Jad, you have to say why you cannot. Cannot 26. All right, I think I'm gonna write a poll. I'm gonna send an email and you will reply to the email, because the poll is what you prefer, you know, and this would give me options. No, I want to see your constraints. Okay, so apparently we did not agree on anything. All right, I want to give you clear options by email and you reply with I cannot because. All right. Yes, so yes, let's do that through email. When I narrow things down, I will go for the poll. The poll is what you prefer, not your constraints, basically. Because if you pick something and your friend is gonna pick something else, what does it say? Do I have the option? If you cannot and you have something else, I don't have an option. That's why a poll is not a good idea. Unless we can narrow down 2 options that are feasible for everyone, this is where you pick.